you're totally missing the mark, and you should probably just fire your agent right away.
Studies have showed that there's 75% more views on the property on Zillow between likes, shares, and even contacting agents off of those.
She had just been scammed on one and lost $1,500 on a security deposit, and she was about to be scammed again.
Yeah, with that being said, I mean, when do you normally show properties?
Everyone has different work schedules. People work nights, people work weekends, some people do the 9 to 5. Certainly, I think Saturday, Sunday are busier. But during the day, a weekday, during the evening, I do a lot of evening showings, which it's getting nicer as it's getting later out, because showing at 6 p.m. in the winter when it's pitch black out isn't necessarily ideal, but showing 6 p.m. when it's a little bit lighter out is nice.
We're definitely in the season now where you show up at showings after work with a headlamp on, trying to inspect the outside of the property before you write an offer. But the reality is you gotta make it work. I have noticed that in the summertime, I show a lot more property in the evenings than weekends. But in the wintertime, a lot of it's weekend showings, getting in front of people when the sun is actually shining. Because by the time people are usually off of work, it's pitch black outside and they can't even see what's going on with the house or the yard or anything.
If their work requirements only allow for a 6 p.m. showing, then that's when we're going to do it. But ideally, I try to kind of not do that so much, because you can't just see the house as much. You can't see, yes, the lights are going to be on. Hopefully the electricity is on the inside.
Yep.
But seeing the outside, you just can't see things. And you have to see the house you're going to be living in. You're going to be living there.
Yeah, definitely. Showing properties right now in the wintertime is kind of tough, and that kind of leans into what we wanted to discuss a little bit today about online presence and how important it is to have such great marketing online, whether it's through the MLS, photos, Redfin, Zillow, Realtor.com, all those fun things, because a lot of our marketing is online nowadays. So, like, what are you doing as far as capitalizing on the ever-changing market and making this switch from the classic days of putting your listing at the front of your brokerage to not doing that anymore and having to capitalize online? What are you doing to help out your clients with that?
Yeah. Well, I've been in real estate for 10 years, and even 10 years ago, that wasn't necessarily super common to put the poster out. I know I've heard stories of agents with the thermal paper.
We should start it again. Let's start putting all of our listings on our front doors.
Something unique is what you need to stand out. So it could be the thing. I mean, there's nothing, I don't want to say nothing, but one of the things that really annoys me is when I go on the MLS and I see these horrific pictures, like worse than they were even shot on your iPhone. Like, what were you using to take these pictures? And it's like, we get paid well to market a home, to sell an expensive product that's median value is $500,000 to $600,000 and way higher. And it's like, if you're shooting that on a terrible phone, you're totally missing the mark, and you should probably just fire your agent right away. There's no reason not to have killer photos. If you go on Amazon and search for a pencil or a paper towel or something super cheap and simple, they have killer, high quality, studio, really beautiful with white backdropped photos. Incredible photos. And if you're getting these terrible photos for a house, for a $500,000 house, you're totally missing the mark.
Are you saying that you don't like seeing the classic realtor in a bathroom selfie photo to market a property?
Yeah. If you're in your own photos, if your finger is covering the lens, like, what are you doing? We're not in the 1980s when you had film and maybe you didn't even know your finger was covering the lens. You can see your digital photo immediately. If you're not noticing that your finger is covering the lens, like, you are doing the absolute minimum. And it is just crazy that agents are getting business doing that level of minimum work.
Yeah, it always blows my mind that there's a direct correlation in the value you get with how much you're paying for it. You either get value in regards of representation and great representation, great marketing, or you're gonna spend less money and not get as good of representation, right? So when we talk to a lot of agents that join the team or are new in the business, we always talk to them about, what is your value? What is your value proposition to your clients? Is it I mean, mine when I first got in the industry was I will work as hard as I possibly can because I'm learning everything I possibly can. So whether it's diving deep into research on the best way to market a property online or simply picking up the phone at 12 o'clock at night, I mean, that's what people were paying me for. I wanted to be a representative that was willing to put in the extra work to make sure that I was representing my clients well, and I wasn't going to do that at a discount because I knew what my value was. Now, I really capitalize on specializing on online marketing and making sure that we're strategizing well on getting the best online presence. There are many ways to market a property nowadays, but online presence seems to be one of the most important things. And that goes much deeper than just putting it on the MLS. It goes into branding your photos, getting it on Facebook Marketplace. Even Craigslist has been a really good place to list property that get you in front of most people that might not be familiar with Zillow, right? All the way down to boosting ads on social media. And then, of course, we have a massive database here that's over 16,000 people that as soon as we list something, they're getting informed about it. We have agents constantly calling people to let them know about new listings that might fit their criteria. We're a one-stop shop. Online presence is crucial. But most importantly, I shape marketing a property in a way that the client wants me to market it. Some clients might not want open houses. I mean, ever since COVID, there's a lot of people that just don't like strangers being in their house. We're seeing a lot more video cameras inside people's homes during showings, and honestly, I think it's a great idea. We should all be protected, but when you sit down and you talk to somebody about how should I market your property, what's important to you, these are a lot of questions that I feel like listing agents aren't asking, and they might be molding and shaping their marketing strategy in a completely improper way that their clients don't even want them to market their property on. So I always ask the question, what's important to you? How do you want me to market your property? Because I can do it all.
What are some specific things that you do with your marketing to stand out among other agents?
Oh, great question. Great question. Obviously, professional photography is crucial. That's kind of basic. That's the easiest of easiest way to get good online social presence. And the agents who are not hiring professional photographers, I'm sorry, but you're dropping the ball, plain and simple. It's so important to have that. We get paid a lot of money to represent our sellers. And if you have an agent that's not hiring a simple professional photographer, you should start questioning on how they're representing you behind the phone. If they're not willing to put their own money into the pot to make sure that your property is being marketed well. Number two, I mainly focus online social media marketing. Okay, every agent that you hire is going to be putting your property on the MLS, which is going to disperse over hundreds of websites online. Every agent's going to do that, of course, unless they tell you otherwise, the client tells you otherwise. But we take it the next step. I don't just post it on the MLS. We also post it on Zillow. We utilize Zillow Showcase, which not every team has access to. So not only are you going to be on Zillow, your bubble's going to be way larger than the rest of the bubbles on Zillow, and we can also put a video on the Zillow profile as well.
I noticed that just the other day. The first one, I saw a video as the first photo of the house, and I hadn't seen that before. I think that's a new thing, and I thought that was really awesome. I'm going to be doing that moving forward.
It's really interesting to see how much of a difference you can get on your marketing by small little changes, right? On Zillow Showcase, the bubble on the map that everyone goes and sees and clicks around on, it's much larger when you're utilizing Zillow Showcase, and it's appealing to the eye. So a simple way to get more attention and views, maybe saves or potential offers on a house, is by simply utilizing Zillow Showcase, all because that bubble is super large, and when they click on it, we can add a video onto it, and a lot of other listing agents aren't doing that still.
Yeah, I think they say they get like 60 or 70% more saves on the showcase. Do you know what the number is?
Zillow Showcase is another opportunity and avenue that we have to offer for our sellers when it comes to marketing their property online. Zillow Showcase, studies have shown that there's 75% more views on the property on Zillow between likes, shares, and even contacting agents off of those. So that's something that is really separating us from other agents on the team and myself with all of my listings. Facebook, it's huge. I boost all of my posts on Facebook when it comes to marketing my listings. And then I also watermark the listings as well. There's a lot of fraud going on, unfortunately, online that there's rentals on Facebook Marketplace that are $600 a month. I don't know why they choose that, but $600 a month. If you see any of those $600 a month on, it looks like listings that are for sale, please draw a red flag to it. They're probably trying to get you to go to a website to apply for it, spend a $50 application fee, and then it's really nothing.
It's more than that. I've seen a lot of the time where they will tell you to go to the property, not only spend $50 on the application, but then say you're approved and try and get the security deposit.
Wow. That's terrifying. That's terrifying. I mean, we're not in property management or anything, but if you see something on Facebook Marketplace or some social media page and it seems like it's too good to be true, contact a property manager that's local to confirm that it is legitimate and make sure that you're not doing application fees or deposits or anything until you've actually met somebody, you've seen the property, and you know that it's legitimate because there's a lot of fraud going on right now.
I was showing a home one time. I pull up, let my clients in, and somebody else pulls up to the house looking at it. This home was for sale. She thought it was for rent. I wasn't aware it was on Facebook listed for rent. She ended up, I talked to her for quite a bit. She told me that she had just been scammed on one and lost $1,500 on a security deposit. And she was about to be scammed again because this one was not for rent, it was only for sale. And yeah, they take these for sale vacant listings in particular and list them for rent and try and get the security deposit. Do you get the emails every so often, the automated, I think they're from the MLS,
Yep.
saying, we identified your property, would you like to have it removed?
Yeah, I mean, luckily, there's some mixed emotions when it comes to the new Flex MLS that Northern Nevada switched to, but overall, I think Flex MLS has been great. I think the tools are awesome, and they already have implementations like the fraudulent activity online for all of our listings. So as far as real estate professionals are concerned, not only us, but the MLS, Northern Nevada Regional MLS, is also taking steps to make sure that we're protecting consumers from fraudulent activity online. So it's nice to see. I do get emails pretty frequently on that stuff, and they instantly nip it in the butt to make sure it gets removed online, which is nice. What are your thoughts on these new 50-year mortgages potentially come into play?
Overall, not a fan. It's almost, I'll start over. Overall, not a fan. It seems more like you might as well just get an interest only loan at that point. You're probably going to have a lower interest rate. And when you're 50 years out, you might as well just get that interest only loan. And maybe you could refinance or have a balloon payment or something like that later on when you sell. Most people aren't going to be in a home for 50 years. And so at that point, the amortization just doesn't even make sense. Get the 30-year. The 7-year ARMs are actually pretty interesting right now, especially on the new builds. They've been pushing those, and those have really good rates. But the 50-year, I just have a feeling isn't going to make sense. What's your thoughts on the 50-year mortgages?
I actually think they're great, personally. I don't know. It's definitely interesting to think about. I mean, back in the day when they introduced 30-year mortgages, everyone was super angry and they didn't make sense. But now most mortgages are 30-year mortgages. To me, I think they're a great option, especially for first-time home buyers and affordability for clients in general. And the reason being is because it's going to bring down your mortgage, which your exit ratios will make more sense and you'll actually be able to afford a house. Now, do I think they're a good idea for the current market that we're in? Yes, I do, because housing prices are skyrocketed. They're extremely high. There's a lot of us, individuals who are in our 20s, 30s, 40s, it doesn't matter, that are struggling to afford a property right now, and a 50-year mortgage might make it so they can actually get into real estate. Now, you think to yourself, oh my goodness, I'm 30 years old. I'm going to pay off this mortgage when I'm 80 years old. That sounds overwhelming. But the reality is most people refinance within the first 10 years of owning their house anyways. So if you could get into a property and refinance at some point when things are a little bit more affordable, then that's a great option. But most importantly to me, why I think 50-year mortgages are great is because you're going to be able to afford more property, and where people make most of their money on equity is when they sell their house. Well, whether you're making your mortgage payment on a 30-year fixed mortgage or a 50-year fixed mortgage, the money that you're making most of the time is when you sell your house. So why not make it more affordable for you so you have a better comfortability with living, and you're still going to make the same amount of money in the future, because most of the time the amortization schedule is 15 years on a 30, it'll be 25 years on a 50 year, right? So you're spending more money on interest while you're in that house anyways. So I think they're a great idea, because it's going to create more affordability for the market, and most people actually make their money on their investment when they sell it, and most people are selling their houses in 7 to 9 years.
I have a feeling in order to make them work, if it is going to be a thing, there'll need to be some other incentive tied to it that will bring down the rate. They'll have to do some sort of rate buy down. That might be a government, some sort of government program to buy down the rate, because those rate the banks don't know what's going to happen in the next 50 years. They barely know what's going to happen in the next year or two. And so their risk for the banks is much higher on a 50-year loan, and they're going to be needing to charge a higher interest rate. And so in order for the banks to make sense of it, there's going to need to be some sort of prepaid interest, probably as a government incentive.
Yeah, I think 50-year mortgages are actually a band-aid to a bigger problem that we're having. It's not the mortgages necessarily that are concerned. Yeah, 5%, 6%, 7% is high compared to what we were seeing during COVID times at 2, 3% interest rates. But the true issue we're having right now is median household income can't afford a median sold price house. That's a problem. So instead of band-aiding it, if there was incentive programs like down payment assistance programs or grant programs to help out with first-time home buyers in a 30-year fixed mortgage, I see that making more sense. But unfortunately, our inventory overall is still low. People are still needing to buy houses, and I'm not necessarily seeing anything currently right now that screams that we're going to go into a market collapse, but none of us have a crystal ball, and I think that 50-year mortgages are just a band-aid to a bigger problem. But I'm all for it. If it can get me into a house and I can afford it a much better, I'm going to do it because I know I'm going to get my return on my investment when I sell. Whether I have a 15-year, a 30-year, or a 50-year mortgage, if the market tanks, the market tanks. I'm going to be upside down on my asset no matter what. So why not make it a little bit affordable for me in case it does happen?
Why not an interest only loan at that point?
It's a high risk loan at that point, right? There's ins and outs, there's pluses and minuses to all of them. But the reality is in a situation where housing prices are high, 50-year mortgages can make it a little bit more affordable for people to get into. I think it's a great option. Do I think there's better options? Absolutely. But 50-year mortgages overall, I think could be a good thing for first-time home buyers or people who are maybe struggling to get into a house, because housing prices are so high.
Ultimately, I think you're right. It's a band aid to a bigger problem. And there's really one or maybe two solutions to the bigger problem. One is going to be building. We just need more homes. Building is really going to be the main thing. Easing up zoning controls, especially in northern Nevada, we have so much land, and so much of it is 40-acre minimum. And if they were to open some of that up and allow more building in there, that would certainly help. And going back and forth with the different administrations, right? One administration might be very pro building, and you don't know what's going to happen in the next 4 or 8 or 12 years. And a company like Lennar or D.R. Horton, they're planning 10 years out. They buy land today that needs to go through permitting, building. They're looking at what are they going to do in 10 years from now, and they don't have the crystal ball either. And so reducing their risk to incentivize them to build would really be a big help.
Yeah, I think the building right now in northern Nevada is kind of tough. I don't think it's necessarily we don't have enough builders or we don't have enough land. I think it's an infrastructure struggle. Um, you have these all of these homes going in the backside of Pyramid Highway. The new one is Red Hawk Golf Course potentially might turn into 900 more homes. Our problem in northern Nevada right now, and I believe, is more of an infrastructure issue because our roadways are just there's too many people on the roads. We're getting a ton of traffic. USA Parkway. Um, if you commute out to USA Parkway, bless your soul, I couldn't do it. The fact that you guys sit an hour and a half, 2 hours of traffic, a couple times a week, absolutely blows my mind. But as far as building is concerned, we're going to continue to build, but our infrastructure really needs to get caught up. And unfortunately, it comes down to funds from the state to be able to develop, and it also takes time to get caught up with all this infrastructure. But sometimes I wish Nevada would be more conscious to building the infrastructure first, then building homes rather than trying to play catch up in the future and creates a bind for everyone else.
It's a hard balance because I don't know if you've ever been to the building department. I'm sure you have. They got some super smart people there that really know their stuff. Every time I walk into the building department, I'm immediately impressed by how great all the people are there. Um, I wish personally out by Lockwood that they would do some more building because that would really ease that commute out to Tesla Gigafactory and all the stuff that's going out there, Panasonic, Switch. And it's so nice over there, right on the water, right on Truckee River. And there's so few homes. They should really build out in that direction, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be interested to see how the roadway from the backside of Spanish Springs all the way to USA Parkway does. I think we're going to see a lot of development out there as the years go on. And yeah, overall, we've got an expansion going on in the Spaghetti Bowl. Heading up north, they're widening that freeway, if not already finished. So I think the commute will be a lot better there. I mean, overall, I think Nevada is sitting really good as far as infrastructure is concerned, and backing for jobs. Because a lot of our stuff is going to tech driven. We've got Tesla, Panasonic, we've got recycling plants, Chewy.com, a whole bunch of like tech driven companies that even if the economy overall as a country kind of went down, I think the jobs here are almost bulletproof. So there will be consistent jobs available for people moving here, which is just going to keep making our economy thrive.
The other solution that is a little bit less popular is a culture shift on the way that we view housing and the way that we utilize housing. Do you know where we land in terms of globally in the US when you compare our median income to our median home price, where we land in terms of affordability compared to other countries?
We're pretty good from what I
We're the
understand.
best.
Yeah.
Our homes are pretty much compared to all other developed countries. Our home prices are the lowest as a relation to our median incomes. And it's crazy to think because homes are expensive. And it's like, how is that possible? It's because a lot of the rest of the world, people are doing multi-generational. There's more people in each home. There's smaller homes, right? Our homes are getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year with fewer and fewer people in them. We used to have, if you look back 100 years ago, used to have an average of 5 people in a home. Now it's 2.5, right? So we have half as many people. And also 100 years ago, homes were about half the size.
Yeah.
They were averaging about 1,500 square feet compared to the 2,500 square feet today. So we have fewer people in bigger homes. And that's how the rest of the world does it, is they kind of have it how we used to have it.
So we've progressed into fewer people in larger homes, where the rest of the world is progressing to more people in smaller homes. Oh, that's interesting. That's definitely interesting.
Like Lennar has these next gen homes, right? The multi-generational, like that could be a really good solution for a lot of people where you're in one house, but you have the in-laws, you have either the next generation or either the parents or the kids living with you longer. And that could be a good solution. Not as popular. People like the way things are, but there's only so much that, I guess that's how the rest of the world is doing it. So
It'll be interesting to see what happens with Northern Nevada. We're going to keep building, and I don't see anything really coming down anytime soon. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, they're going to continue to build roads, widen roads. Developers are going to continue developing. I mean, it's a great place to live, and there's a reason why people are moving here, because we don't have state income taxes. Overall, our roads are in really good shape. We have Tahoe. We have Pyramid Lake, which is some of the best fishing in the world. There's jobs readily available. I mean, overall, Northern Nevada in general is a spectacular place to be, not only for the beauty, but also economically, socially. People are very friendly here, so it's nice to see it continue to develop. But obviously, with the goods comes the bad, and maybe a little bit more traffic, maybe a little bit more inflated home prices. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because we really, truly do live in an incredible place.
I know you have a bit of a better pulse on the team overall and what all the agents are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I heard the Allison Group had like 70 escrows in January and one agent had 9. Is that right?
We have been absolutely on fire so far this year. We were pumping out. We had about 30 escrows going into the second week, and we're up to 70 escrows already for the month of January and February. So the company itself is absolutely thriving. We just rolled out this new program called the Allison Junior College. Ultimately, new agents are getting the opportunity to come in Tuesdays and Thursdays, first thing in the morning, and really learn the ins and outs of real estate. Professor Brian's running the show, so it's cool to see him bring these new agents in and really sit down with them and explain to them how to set proper expectations, how to write contracts, how to show property, do all these things that ultimately are going to really kickstart their business. Because when you get out of real estate school, you don't understand how to do real estate. You just learn real estate law. So the Allison Junior College for 1 month straight is really sitting them down and going over the ins and outs of how to sell real estate. The team also has been absolutely kicking butt with conversion rates, helping clients get into properties, setting appointments, making sure that we're a valuable resource for all of our clients. We have our systems that are absolutely dialed right now. The energy in the office and the culture in the office has been super fun. We come in, it's a loud environment. We're messing around constantly. It's overall really good right now. We're off to a really good start.
What are some other things that are covered in the Allison Junior College?
AJC is a tool that we're really providing to these new agents that are coming into the industry and just they have no idea what to do, how to do it. They take their real estate license test and they learn real estate law and oh my goodness, what do I do now? AJC is taking them from ground zero all the way to 1,000, from writing contracts, listing agreements, how to properly show property, how to set proper expectations, but also be able to dive into our systems to stay organized and get the support that they need to make sure that they're doing it ethically and smoothly for their clients, because we want to make sure that our clients are happy at the end of the day.
There's one thing I heard you mention twice, which I love, which is managing expectations, because that is so important. I learned that a long time ago that in anything, whether it's real estate or any other type of business endeavor, managing expectations for the client is so important. You need to know when to say no or when something's not going to happen and when they're being unrealistic. Again, not just in real estate, but in anything, managing expectations is so critical.
Absolutely. Expectations need to be set with everything in life. One of my mentors when I first got in the industry told me that if I go up to you right now and I smack you in the face, you're going to be mad at me, right? Of course you are. But if I set the expectation that, hey, there's a flesh-eating spider on your head and I need to come over and I need to knock it off, you're going to tell me, like, bring it, bring the heat, come on, what are you waiting on, right? So that completely bleeds into real estate as well. Setting proper expectations on the next steps. What could go good, what could go poorly. So if it does go poorly, they're prepared for it. So it's not you hitting them out of left field in the face. They're prepared for it. They know it's coming and they know the solutions that we have set in place to make sure that we get it handled.